Welcome to I Said What I Said. I'm Brad Wakai. That's Tyson Gentry. This is our Sweet 16 preview, folks. Welcome in. Tyson survived the bender. I'm glad to have him back in the saddle. How was your weekend, by the way? I know you said it was getting a little rowdy at certain times, but how was it over there?
Oh, it was good. It was good. It's always fun to watch the games at, somewhere with a bunch of TVs, big screens. You got a bunch of other people who are invested. It's a good energy. But I think it would have been a more fun weekend for me and my wallet if maybe I could just take favorites in the points.
You just can't do it, dude. That's not your ethos.
No,
you just can't bring yourself to do it in March.
That's the opposite of who I am as a human being, and I'm not changing now.
Hey, I respect it. I appreciate it. You've had some pretty successful marches since we've done this show by sticking to the gun. So, I mean, we'll see it going forward. Of course, people are talking about, is March Madness ruined because NIL? Tyson and I gave our thoughts on that. So go listen to that. That was in the past. We're just talking about this bracket now. We're talking about this tournament, and we're doing the Sweet 16 preview, and I am excited for it, Tyson. I mean, we got the best teams in the country in this still. We got teams who are in that bottom tier are going to be trying to knock off those best teams in the country, whether in the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight. I think this is setting up to be a fantastic weekend. So as you're looking through, and we're going to go through each game and give our thoughts and give out a pick. How are you feeling coming into this thing?
Oh, I'm super excited. This is when you don't get upsets in day one and day two, especially of the top seeds. And I know St. John's lost, but Arkansas is like as exciting to have in here, just the way that they play. Like we need one of them. So why not get, some super athletic giants who are going to be playing in the NBA as kind of your Cinderella. Dude, the best teams in the country are left, and they're going to get the chance to play against each other. I know there's 7 of 16 teams are from the SEC, which is wildly impressive, but now they have to prove it against the best teams from the other conferences that are left.
Yeah, and I got to eat a little crow. I came in, I don't know about the SEC. We'll see. Well, 7 out of the 14 that were in, they're in the Sweet 16. Got to tip my cap. It's been impressive. Thought they played well.
We said they needed 3 in the Final Four. That was hate from us.
Or did I say 2?
Maybe we said 2, but that was hate.
I think
7 of 16 is I'll take we'll leave the 2 in the Final Four. I'm impressed with this.
Yeah, this is a good showing. Okay, let's dive in, Tyson. Let's get into this now. We're going to start with Alabama and BYU. That is the first game of the March Madness tournament, or of the Sweet 16 round here. And so I'm just having a little trouble here. Here we go. Now we got the visuals here. So we're watching on YouTube. We're just going to go through the bracket, just kind of a little visual aid. This should be an interesting one, man. I mean, I think it's going to be up and down. BYU playing some good defense. Alabama, we know, is just a sieve. I mean, this total is set high. We're going to have our gambling episode coming out later to get you set if you want to make some picks on this. But as we look at this, I think this is fast-paced. I think this is up and down. I think this is going to be an NBA style between two programs who really want to run.
No, absolutely. And I think, everyone, and you mentioned the Bama defense thing off the top there, and it's a real concern, but they do lock in sometimes just for just long enough. Now, if you forget to play defense for a little while against BYU, all of a sudden it's raining threes and you're in big trouble. But Bama loves that kind of game. And I think this is a viewer's paradise to kick off the Sweet 16 here. This is going to be the most fun matchup. I don't know if it'll be the closest one. I think Bama has so much firepower that as long as shots are going in for both teams, Bama's just they got the bigger gun. But BYU can just make shots, man. And this might be 95-90.
This is interesting to me here, Tyson, because Alabama is 6th in KenPom ranking and BYU is 24th. And so that's an interesting note to me there. And then if you look at offensive rating for KenPom, Bama number 4, BYU number 9, Bama's defense 29th. I'm going to call maybe we need to get some updated stats on that KenPom. And then BYU 71st. So this is going to be points. I agree. What a way to kick off the weekend. This is going to be a banger.
I mean, it might be a Mark Shears 40 bomb.
It could be.
By the way, dude, what is up with Grant Nelson? He's dunking. He looks awesome, but he's still banged up.
It's the okie doke, man. I don't know.
I guess.
So that's going to – so 30 minutes later, Tyson, we're doing this still staggered time start here. We're going to head over into – what is this, the Midwest region or the West region, actually? And it's going to be Florida against Maryland. Maryland coming off an insane ending against Colorado State. I had a friend who went to Maryland. She was telling me, Tyson, she's at the bar. She's all drunk. She was at the March Madness in Raleigh, drove back home. She lives in Richmond, Virginia. She's out at the bar. Colorado State hits that shot, she starts crying. Maryland goes down, hits a shot, she starts crying, and the opposite type of feeling and emotion. So, I mean, what a roller coaster if you're Maryland. And that's a fan. I mean, if your player is probably a little different because you're in the moment a little bit more, but holy smokes, what do you feel going into this one? Now you get some time off. It's Florida, Tyson. It's not like they had a cakewalk either. They were in a fight. How do you see this going?
Well, here's the thing about Florida, because I'm hearing a lot of like, it was a close game against UConn. It was a close game, and it was a close game against UConn. UConn looked like they were going to win that game. If they box out, or don't turn the ball over, basically unforced UConn, that is, then they win that game. But Brad, we're talking about college kids. And Florida now gets to look in the mirror and say, we just beat the back-to-back defending national champions. And they threw their best punch, and we were able to weather it. And I think that's worth something. And I also, I love the Maryland team. We talked about it before. I like a lot of what they do. This is a bad matchup for them if Florida's able to get them into foul trouble, because if you have the shortest bench left of the tournament and you're playing a team that can go, they'll just run a second unit out there at you. Maryland, thank God they got some rest, and they got the big guys to really make this close. Like if Reese and Queen are awesome on the boards, that's one thing. But Florida rebounds well enough and is deep enough that I think they just get them out of here.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, I should have given my other one. I apologize, guys. I think Bama's going to beat BYU. I think you said that too, Tyson. So Tyson's going with Florida here. It's hard for me to disagree. I mean, that was a great breakdown. I think they're deeper than Maryland. You get some time off. So I think, that does help the Terps here. But I'm looking at this basic stuff at KenPom. Florida, the third-ranked team in the country. Maryland, respectable 10th. But offensive rating, Florida 2nd. Maryland 22nd. Defensive rating, Florida 11th. Maryland 6th. Now, I think that does help Maryland in this one. They do defend. They have length. They can rebound. So I think that's going to help them. Can you limit second chance opportunities for Florida? That was something UConn couldn't do down the stretch. But I'm with you. I just think there's more dynamicism on Florida from their guards. Like everybody's talking about Queen. I think they have the ability to match up, the Gators do, with Queen. Then Julian Reese, not necessarily a great scorer, somebody you throw the ball into, especially with the size of Florida. Right. And I don't know if anybody can stay in front of Walter Clayton or the guards that Florida has. So I'm with you. I think the number one seed advances in this one.
If Julian Reese wins the national championship, the internet will melt down.
It'd be insane. It would be insane.
I'm kind of cheering for that now. Can I change my pick?
Go for it. I'll not hold you to it until we put our gambling picks on the line. That's what Tyson will be coming back with another underdog pick. Let's head back over to the East because it's my Duke Blue Devils facing off against Arizona. Now, Tyson, I think this is an interesting one because there's a lot of storyline surrounding this. And we kind of mentioned it. Caleb Love has another opportunity to knock out a Duke team that people think is going to win a national championship, right? Like that happened at North Carolina. They beat the Paulo Banchero team. One of the worst losses I can remember as a Duke fan. It's up there with me, like one of the absolute worst feelings. Retired Coach K. It was brutal. But this time, this is an Arizona team who was beat by Duke early in the season. Duke went on the road, beat the Wildcats. Arizona's a different team now. That's what we're hearing. Oh, but Caleb Love's playing better. The role players know. This is also a different Duke team. Like Sion James wasn't starting. Caleb Foster was getting 30 minutes. We joked before we got on here. Come on, Malawach all of a sudden is hitting threes. I mean, the guy couldn't even catch a basketball early in the season. When the guys he's like legit might be the best big man in the country. That's how good he's been on the defensive end too. This Duke team is scary. Their offense is ridiculous. I do think that they can rip apart this Arizona defense. It's just, is Duke going to be able to do the little things enough, aka rebound, where they're going to be able to win this one comfortably or not?
Well, it's also like we're at the point in the tournament now where Arizona just needs to have somebody, you're face guarding Proctor. Like he just can't catch them. He can't get the basketball because the ball's going up and it's going in. And all of a sudden, you're down a defender against probably the most talented offensive. Like when Duke has it rolling, dude, it's crazy to watch. And I think they get it rolling here against Zona. I think it's going to be a bunch of lobs. I just think they're too big for them. And I also think they're going to put Arizona in some foul trouble. Look, the Caleb Love thing would be awesome. What is it, 4 career 30-point games against Duke or something like that in his time in college? But he's playing the jersey. These aren't the guys that got knocked out the Paulo Banchero year. These aren't the guys that he's knocked out previously. Those guys didn't have Knuppel. They didn't have Flag. They didn't have like some of these bigs. And, it's Oregon pushed them to the brink with half the athleticism that Duke is going to bring to the court. And I think that's where you start to worry. The last time we saw Iowa State healthy, they ran Arizona off the court just by being bigger, stronger, and faster. And I think Duke is set up to do that too.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Duke is going to advance. They're going to beat Arizona. I'm knocking on wood here, though, just because it's my favorite team. First in KenPom rating, number one in offensive rating, fourth in defensive rating. Like, this Duke team is just ridiculous of what they've been able to accomplish. Arizona, 13th in KenPom rating. They are 13th in offensive rating, 28th in defensive rating. I think that's where they're going to run into trouble here. Like, yeah, it's 28th, Tyson. If anybody watches that Arizona team, like, they can get after you a little bit on the wings, but I just don't see it against this Duke team. So I'm with you. I think the Dukies advance, avoid a little Caleb Love scare. Then they put him into retirement. How about that with his college basketball career? All right, let's close out the Thursday action, going back over to the West when we have the Texas Tech Raiders facing the Cinderella Arkansas Razorbacks with Coach Cal leading the Hogs. This is – can the refs just get out of the way on this one? Yeah, I want to see this team bang. I want to see these two teams go at it. That's what Arkansas and St. John's ready to do. They're ready to just go out there and just wrestle for 40 minutes, and it would have been awesome. And everybody was ready for it. Nobody was going to get hurt. Nobody's going to be like, oh, we're getting bullied. Both teams are ready. Texas Tech's bringing that too. And if the refs can let them go, this, Tyson, I think, could be one we look back like, whoa. Do you remember that Texas Tech-Arkansas game?
I agree. And I also, like, as this tournament's gone on, I'm starting to feel, a little bit like Texas Tech's being disrespected. Like, we might look back at this team and go, what a run they went on if they can handle this. They're also super long. They're super athletic. They're set up to play an Arkansas team. But Arkansas's got the mojo right now, and Cal is able to use every trick in the book. I mean, we've heard time and time again this guy can motivate his guys like nobody's business. And, like, we make fun of him because for a long time it was just Cal's going to roll the ball out. He's not going to make adjustments, and he's just going to give speeches. And it worked when you had a bunch of NBA players. But now these guys really believe they're not supposed to be here, and he's going to be able to pull on every string and all of that great stuff. They had a huge win against St. John's, but I just think Texas Tech I think they're better. Like, I just think that's what this comes down to. They have better players than Arkansas. I think that this game has the potential to be like 52-47 if they let it, and that's what I want.
Wow. I want that too. I want it to be tough. And Tyson, it is hilarious because we've always, we take jabs at Cal. I think everybody does. So we're not special in that regard, but I think we were early adopters on that, just in terms of, like, everybody's like, oh, Cal's just so good. I'm like, is he that good of a coach? I'm not sure. So I think we were the early adopters on that one. But I got to say, this might be the best coaching job he's done in a long time, dude. I mean, this is crazy. And his buzzword is connected, right? Like, oh, no, we're just all connected right now. So that's the one heartbeat. That's the buzzword. And it's carried him this far. But the problem is, Tyson, when you're standing in a row and you all got one heartbeat, it takes one bullet to shoot out your heart. And I think that's what Texas Tech could do here. You're looking, they are number 8 in KenPom rating, 5th in offensive rating. This is a really good offensive team for Texas Tech. You think of Texas Tech, you think of grinder, right? Like, this offensive team, or this team really gets up and down the court, scores the rock with efficiency. And after, Arkansas is the worst ranked team left in the field at 36 in KenPom rating, 65th in offensive rating. They played better in the tournament. Texas Tech's defensive rating 37th. I think that can slow down Arkansas a little bit more than what we've seen, although St. John's had a really good defense.
75.
They just didn't make enough shots to win that game. But Arkansas's defense 17th in KenPom defensive rating. So, man, this is going to be fun, man. I mean, a lot of NBA bodies on this floor. It's a lot of length and athleticism. This could be a real good one.
Please just let us have a rock fight. They haven't let us have one, and this is what we need.
So you're going with Texas Tech?
I'm going with Texas Tech.
All right, I'm going with Texas Tech too. I think they advance. Let's move on to Friday, Tyson, as we keep on rolling here, and we're going to switch up to, what is this? The West region? Is that what it is with Maryland? No, back to this is going to be in the South region.
The South.
So Michigan State facing Ole Miss, a battle of two really good coaches, man. I mean, Izzo and Chris Beard, who's going to outwit each other here? I know a lot of people are down on this Michigan State team. It's not like they've been impressive, but every single time Michigan State goes on a deep run, it's like, is anybody impressed by any of the wins? No, like, this is the most classic Michigan State thing that we can imagine. Like, nobody's impressed. Everybody thinks they suck, yet they find ways to win, and yet they're out-coach the other team, and they out-execute the other team. But can they do that against this Ole Miss team, Tyson? I think if it wasn't for the high-end games that we've had and some of, like, the strong performances from the notable teams, I think look at this Ole Miss team, and if it wasn't for their collapse against North Carolina, like, wow, an impressive, maybe the most impressive 2 games compared to expectations for Ole Miss here. I mean, what they're doing is peaking at the right time, and that's scary in March.
Yeah, and it's the battle of perception in this one, because Ole Miss was awesome for like 37 of the 40 minutes against North Carolina, and then they really got Iowa State up out of there quick. I know, like, when you look at it, you're like, oh, 13-point game. That never felt like Iowa State had a chance to win that thing for most of it. This Michigan State team, like, can Tom Izzo just say, you know what, I'm not going to do Tom Izzo stuff. Like, I'm not gluing a guy to the bench with 3 fouls, or I'm going to let my team get out and run, that kind of stuff. Because Ole Miss they want to speed you up. That's how they play. That's how they want to play. They want to go up and down. They want to shoot the ball, and they want to score 100 points on you. And I think that Michigan State, for the first time in a long time, is equipped to play that style of basketball. Michigan State doesn't make threes at a high level until they do. And when they do, Bryant is blown out in 2 minutes, right? And until they do, New Mexico is hanging around, and then Michigan State gets them up out of there. I think Tom Izzo has enough, and I still really want to see this team play somebody else in the South region, Brad.
Yeah, I know you do. You're pumped for that. Boy, I'm a little torn here, right? So I'll kind of talk myself into this, or talk myself through it. Michigan State 7th in KenPom, Ole Miss 21st. Interesting profile battle on the flip side here. Michigan State's offense 25th in offensive rating, Ole Miss 24th. Michigan State's defensive rating 5th, Ole Miss 21st. So you kind of have a similar offensive profile, better defense for Michigan State. What plays over into this? We got a new location, right? You guys go into Atlanta, new gyms, new background, new backdrop. It's completely new. It doesn't matter what you did before. You're comfortable, not anymore. So that's the variable. Like, we have no clue how these guys are going to react, what the shooter's eye is going to look like. Because of that, I like Chris Beard. I think he's a good coach. It's hard for me to go against Michigan State. I think they have the superior team. I think everybody thought that coming in. I thought that coming in. Yeah, they haven't impressed Michigan State like Ole Miss has. But you've got to wipe the slate clean. We're now in the Sweet 16. They got time off. They're back home. Let's go, Spartans. I think they get past it. They're the Elite Eight.
I love it.
Next game. Going back, Tyson, where are we going here? Jeez, the bracket's throwing me off. We're going to the Midwest. Thank you. I was glad I got a chunk of that here. SEC battle. Kentucky versus Tennessee, a 3 versus a 2. Mark Pope. Get to this point, Tyson, I kind of threw a little shade. I picked Troy to upset Kentucky. Mark Pope, when he's at BYU, not necessarily able to have success. Well, if there was ever a pressure situation when Calipari takes Arkansas in his first year there, the Sweet 16, Pope and Kentucky had to do it too, or else there would have been some loud whispers about old Mark Pope. But so the answer is the call there. Tennessee, Tyson at Brick Barnes. We always talk about it. When is the exit going to come in March? It's going to be early. It's going to be late. It's going to come at some time. We project. This team looks about as well-rounded as we've seen them. And I'm curious to see how this one plays out in 2 contrasting styles here.
Well, I think, Kentucky benefited from a few things in the Illinois game, not the least of which was Illinois being Illinois and turning the basketball over 40 times. Illinois had a chance to come back and win that game, multiple times, late in the first half, middle of the second half, and they weren't able to. But the other part is, like, Lamont Butler was good. He was great to start that game and lifted him up. You're going to hear a lot of, Kentucky swept Tennessee, and it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. We all know that. Wouldn't you rather be the team that won twice? Don't you want to be the guys that, like, hey, we own these guys? Like, it's Tennessee. We already got them. I think that Kentucky is rolling right now. And then on the Tennessee side of things, how much are they allowed to be Tennessee in this one? I think that factors in pretty heavily. The guard play is good. We know the bigs, and the defense that you're going to get with a Rick Barnes team. I think Tennessee is just too many athletes here. This is not the SEC tournament. This is not SEC league play, but I think Tennessee wins a close one. Kentucky, I think it's going to be super live, dude.
I agree. I think it's going to be close. Like you said, I don't think there's nobody's running and hiding in this one. And I mean, Kentucky, if they're shooting the ball well, and even if they don't,
they beat anybody.
And they're going to get up and down too. They're going to give themselves enough of a chance. Now, Tennessee will try to slow things down a bit. 346th in the country in adjusted tempo. I mean, that's like a snail's pace. But also, I mean, they've been running a little bit more. We've seen. So you can kind of speed them up a little bit. Now, Ziegler, the savvy point, he's been there for a long time, set the assist record. So he's been around. He's like Rick Barnes' favorite player or something, like they're talking about. Like, he just thinks like me out there. That's what Barnes said. We'll see how it goes. Tennessee 5th in KenPom ranking. Kentucky 15th. Tennessee 17th in offensive rating. Kentucky 11th. I mean, that's interesting there because you think of Kentucky scoring the rock, Tennessee not really. It really 6 teams separating them or 6 spots separating them in offensive rating. Tennessee 3rd in defensive rating and Kentucky 45th. I think that's where the game is lost. Kentucky's going to be able, or Tennessee's going to be able to get the easy buckets on the Wildcats. The Wildcats are going to be able to do that in the Volunteers. Give me Orange. They're advancing.
Let's go.
All right, back to the South. And this, Tyson, besides Duke, I think this might be the game I'm most excited for. Michigan and Auburn, because I've got to eat some crow here. I got to do it, folks. I was wrong on Michigan. I mean, I will say this, though. UC San Diego, man.
Put the ball in the hoop.
I don't know. Felt like they should have won that game maybe at the end there. But, I can't say that. They were down the entire time virtually. This Michigan team, against all odds. Now, I talk about variance, and if you're just tuning into this and you're like, what the hell are you talking about? I've never heard you say that. I'm a believer in variance when it comes to sports. Like the water finds its level theory, right? Like if you're shooting 50% from the field in the first half and you shoot 35 as a team, that'd be ugly. But eventually your second half's going to kind of bring you back to 35%, unless you're just running hot. Then probably the next game it does that, right? So I say that to say Michigan has been playing with fire in these close games the entire season. Like they win these close possession games. I'm like, it's going to come back to bite them. They got down in UC San Diego. I'm like, yes, this is it. And frickin' Trey Donaldson hits one from Curry range. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to do it again. They can't keep getting away with it. And what do? They get away with it again in A&M, eventually blow them out by 12, but they were down. They flipped the switch. A long-winded way for me to say, Tyson, I think Michigan is live against Auburn because Auburn has not impressed me this tournament in the least.
No, and Auburn didn't impress anybody to end the regular season. Like we said that if there was going to be a one that lost early, everybody, seemed to be picking Houston for that role, and we were kind of more locked in on Auburn. Like you can't end the season that way and then not look, they won the game against Creighton. I was hoping for a 40-point, get these guys out of here. We have the player of the year, Jani Broome. We have all of these superstars. We're well coached, all this stuff. Michigan can do some interesting stuff here, especially defensively. Like we just saw them do it a little bit against A&M and what they're going to try to do against Auburn. But if you can't slow down the big man, you're in big trouble. And I think that Jani Broome is going to send guys, hey, you got 2 fouls in 3 minutes. Auburn has to go through him, and he's got to be really good. And, Brad, I think he's going to be really good. I think Auburn wins the game.
Okay, so I think so too. I'll start there. I think Auburn wins this game because we have the time off, right? And the pundits are kind of talking about this. Now, I like listening to – have you been watching the Inside March Madness, by the way, with Lefko, Jay Wright, Candace, and Seth Davis? I know you're not a Seth Davis guy, but, I mean, he adds a lot to that panel, actually. I think that's a really good show. Not the biggest Lefko guy either, but, like, he's doing a good job. And Jay Wright's just incredible, and Candace does a good job. They play off each other well. But Jay Wright, I'm listening to what he's saying because I'm like, how can I kind of think about things from a coach's angle, what he's seeing? He thinks that Auburn's going to be able to come back and Bruce Pearl is going to, all right, guys, we talked about the defense. You got to get this figured out. But he's nervous that this is just who the team is. Everybody's talking about that version of Auburn from when they were running roughshod over college basketball. What if that version's just not there anymore? Like we talk about, you peak at the wrong time sometimes or you hit your ceiling and it's hard to sustain that level. What if just Auburn doesn't get back to that level, Tyson?
And Michigan just hit theirs.
And Michigan just hit theirs. And if they do, Michigan can win this game because you talk about Jani Broome. Yeah, okay, Vlad Golden, 7 foot. Can you get him in foul trouble? You got Danny Wolf. And they like to play him at the same time. That is going to be tough, man. I mean, Michigan is big. They got good guards. Is Auburn going to be able to defend? And this is a fascinating matchup to me because Auburn 3rd in KenPom rating offensively, 12th defensively in KenPom. Michigan 39th and 13th. It's going to be an interesting style of games. I'm curious to see how Dusty May attacks this thing. And I know we like Bruce Pearl. I mean, he's pretty funny. He's a good coach. It's not like he's got a resume that you can back up and be like, yes, we believe in him. You know what I mean? So
that's true. And you don't know what you don't know if you're Dusty May. Like, yeah, he's been here once before when he wasn't supposed to be, but he's not, approaching this from the same thing where Bruce Pearl's like, damn, I remember when I lost to Michigan 22 years ago in March Madness, some of this stuff. But I think you start the game with Wolf on Broome and just kind of go from there.
I think so too. So we both think Auburn. With all that being said, I'm like basically.
Are we going to be lockstep this whole time? I thought you were going to do it to me.
Wow, we talked about chalk, and it just feels so chalky. We called that from the beginning, and I'm not going to stray now, Tyson. You know me, I'm a man of principle. Let's close out the Midwest here. Last game of the Sweet 16 round, and we'll be able to kind of discuss things moving forward. Then Houston, Purdue. I mean,
Get
I'll
'em
just
outta
say
here.
this. Houston's going to win this game. I mean, if I jinx you, I'm sorry. I just don't see an avenue for Purdue to win. And I'm being serious. I mean, can they shoot the lights out of their ball? Sure. But Houston's just, I don't know if they're going to allow that. And Purdue can hit shots. Braden Smith hits like, 9 threes, and it's just like a miracle run. We can see that. But Houston's going to get easy baskets at the rim. Like, oh, Purdue's been able to do a good job. Yeah, I mean, Purdue able to do a good job against a high point team that decided they just wanted to chuck threes, and against McNeese team who just seemed like they were celebrating their win. You're playing the real team now. I mean, Houston is going to come in licking their chops about getting to the rack, Tyson. I think they do it, and they do it with ease.
Yeah, and I think that if Houston doesn't let Gonzaga go on a pretty crazy run there to end that game, we might be circling this Houston-Duke potential matchup in the Final Four as like, can you wait for this? This is going to be so exciting. We've mentioned a couple times that Houston's defense isn't what it was, or is not quite as good as it was in years past. Brad, they might be the best defense in the country again. Like, they look pretty good to me right now. They look pretty physical, pretty fast. And this is, again, they finally have a team that's just making shots. The key for Houston always in March is staying healthy. I mean, how many sprained ankles or torn ACLs have we seen from this Kelvin Sampson bunch that kept them out of, where they were supposed to be when they were winning 30 games? For Purdue, it's like, yes, you can – the pick and roll is deadly. Like, the way that they can run it right now is awesome. But it's different, again, like when you're playing a McNeese State team that wants to jump the passing lane every single time, and you can beat them with lobs or you can pass fake, and all of a sudden you got an open three versus one of the more disciplined teams in the tournament. I think that Houston just dunks the ball every time they get it in this matchup. I just don't think Purdue has anything for them.
No, I'm with you. And per Ken Palm, this is the Houston team, has the best defense in the country, first in defensive rating. And so Purdue is 55th in defensive rating. Houston's offense 10th in offense. Purdue is 7th. Houston's 2nd in Ken Palm rating. Purdue 16th. I mean, I don't see an avenue. I like this Houston team. I think they're really good. We talked about this before. We think this might be the best version of the Kelvin Sampson Houston teams because they can hit the three ball a little bit more modernized, but can still attack the rack. We've seen them do that. I think they can do it with ease against a Purdue team that lets you go to the rack at whenever you want, really. So, yeah. Tyson, I simpatico. I mean, that's. I had a feeling that was coming in, but you know what, Tyson, that does allow us to then be simpatico on our early Elite Eight thoughts as we look through things. So let's just go this way. Let's start in the South. We both have Auburn. We both have Michigan State. That's what you want to talk about. Banger. So I'm going to throw you the floor there.
Banger. I mean, I think that'll be the best game of the tournament, or has the potential to be the best game of the tournament. This Michigan State team isn't scared of anybody. They don't care at all. Like, you go 7 foot across the board, it doesn't matter to us. And then on the flip side, if that team from Auburn is still in there, this is like they can get Michigan State up out of there too. But I just think that, look, part of the reason that you were maybe a little bit more down on the SEC than you should have been is we kind of thought maybe some of these teams at the top were soft at the start of this whole thing. But when you play Creighton, it's hard to look soft, right? And we'll find out playing Michigan for Auburn. But Michigan State is a hard-nosed basketball team, and that's the SEC Big Ten Challenge. That's what we've been waiting for. Give us the best versus the best.
That would be huge. That would be huge. So I'm circling. If Florida gets past Maryland, which we both think, Florida Texas Tech is going to be awesome.
That'd be a banger.
I mean, Florida, you're going to have inside guys. Points. Oh, it might be when we talk about like what's an NBA line to set at. I mean, they could get up and down, but you kind of have everything, right? The good guard play, and then you got some big man play. Toppin, and some of the guys that Florida can throw at him. I mean, what can Walter Clayton continue to do? I mean, he's a star of the tournament right now after what he did against UConn. That game to me has potential to be an all-timer.
Oh, it would be awesome. That's the theme that we were getting at when you get these Sweet 16 matchups. Because, Brad, if we swap Texas Tech out there for Arkansas, we're still excited about the Florida-Arkansas matchup in the Elite Eight.
Oh, huge. It would just be like, all right, well, we check off one SEC team for sure, and there Brad looks even more stupid. So that's unfortunate. Houston, so we both think it's Houston, Tennessee. We talked about rock fights before. That one hasn't set up to be one. Maybe 3 years ago, though, Tyson. I don't know. Like, now they're getting up and down. They both scored 80. I mean, who knows?
If that's the matchup, I'll say it right now. Houston will beat the brakes off the Tennessee Volunteers.
Ooh, I love that.
Brakes off them.
How good of a storyline game is that going to be? Kelvin Sampson, he's got an opportunity to get back to the Final Four. Oh, can Rick Barnes finally get over the hump? Oh, my God. You know it's just going to be left and right. That's going to be sick.
I'm hoping we get that one just so we can get like a over-under on the size of the puddle of pool or the puddle of pee underneath Rick Barnes' feet.
And we got to close here. We think Duke's getting past Arizona. I'm saying think because I don't want to jinx anything. And we think it's going to be Bama facing them. Now, all I heard was, well, if Bama hits their shots, they can beat anybody. They can get Duke out of there. Yeah, but what if they don't? I mean, Duke might score literally 100 points on that Bama defense. I mean, like Sears, good guard. Tyrese Proctor's 6 inches taller than the guy, man. Yeah. I mean, Knippel's bigger than anybody they've got. Like Grant Nelson, like he's a worse version of Cooper Flagg. I mean, just go through the board. I think Duke matches up better. Yeah, Bama wants to get up and down. But Tyson, we've how many times we've seen in the past when you're a bad defense and you just chuck threes and you want to get up and down, and if you're not scoring, like, and you're giving up buckets on the end, that gets ugly. Like Duke might just be able to score at will, and then they get a few stops. And next thing we know, like we're like, oh yeah, that's not a good matchup for Bama.
No, I think if we get that game, that's going to lead to an even further shift towards Duke in the national championship odds. Like I think they like you said, they score 100 points. Like you can beat Robert Morris on the baseline and go up and do a crazy dunk. If you beat Proctor on the baseline and then get by Flagg, then you have a 7-foot monster with the longest arms in the country waiting for you. It's a different team.
It is. All right. Well, that's our Elite 8 thoughts. We'll see how right or wrong Tyson and I are, but stay connected with us. Stay subscribed. So you don't miss a single thing. We're going to see if we can make some more money on this tournament. I mean, we'll kind of chalk everything up. I mean, I thought everything was going to be a disaster on Thursday. Turn things around on Friday. Thankfully, I haven't seen Tyson and stuff. I need to add everything up. But we'll be back trying to make some cashola on the Sweet 16 round. So that's what I got to say. Subscribe so don't miss a single thing. Smash the like button on the way out. Share it with a friend. Share it with an enemy. The drill by now. Let us know in the comments. What game are you looking forward to the most? Let us know. We'll be back with the betting episode in a little bit, guys. Till then, peace.